After you've figured out the basic capacity for work on your upcoming project, it's time to address those staffing gaps. This means answering questions like, do we need to hire someone? Can we borrow someone from another team? And when can they start on our project? Getting the right people at the right time is key to resource capacity planning. And this is where Capacity Planner can help resource managers and project managers do their job. So here's our scenario. The resource manager at our fictional company, Lunar Industries, has mostly staffed up for an upcoming mineral mapping project on the moon. However, after running a capacity report, it was clear that there are several weeks where the project will be understaffed. So now she needs to fill any staffing gaps so that the project manager can start planning out the work. One tool that she can use to make planning easier when the staffing is still unknown is generic resources. And what are those? They're placeholder users that you can use for planning work in Capacity Planner instead of using real Jira users. This way, project planning isn't held up while you wait for actual users to be hired or become available from another team. Planning this way gives you a better idea of how many resources are needed at what time and with which skills. And that can justify either hiring more resources or reallocating some from another team. Then, as the resources are brought onto the project, you can easily reassign the work from the generic resources to those actual users. So let's go create some generic resources. This is the resource planning view, which you can open by clicking Resource up at the right. We've already filtered the resources here by the skills that are needed for the mineral mapping project. And you can see them all here on the left. If I scroll ahead, you can see that they're all generally available for the duration of the project, but many of them are already booked for the first few weeks. We could delay the project and wait for them to free up, but solar flares are predicted for later, so we really need to finish this project before that happens. We'll need to have generic resources stand in for the geologists, the mining expert, and the mining engineer. There's already a generic resource created for the mining engineer, but now we need to create the other two. One way to create a generic resource is from a tempo team, so I'll click the Teams icon here and open up this team, which contains the members who are working on this project. With the generic resource in a team, it's easier to manage them as you would any team member. And if you filter by teams in Capacity Planner, they'll show up with that team. So to create a generic resource here, I need to have either the tempo team admin permission or the manage team permission for all teams. I can check on the team permissions page here. The ghosted permission roles are ones that apply to all teams at Lunar Industries. I see that there's a role called Manage All Teams with the Manage Team permission, so I'm good to go. Back on the overview, I just click the menu beside Add Member and select Add Generic Resource. These are the existing generic resources, but to create a new one, I'll start typing a name, TBH Geologist. TBH is our code for to be hired. I can add skills to the resource like any team member, and I'll select soil sampling and water sampling. I click Save, and there it is. With these skills, this generic resource will show up in the filter used in the resource planning view, so let's go back there by clicking the planning icon. Up here, I need to go back to the time frame of our project, which is the next quarter. And here's our geologist generic resource. Just a note that capacity for generic resources is not calculated, but we can plan time for them, which is their main purpose. So now I will create the mining expert generic resource and plan time for it at the same time. I'll click Plan Time up here to open this form. For the plan item, I'll click Project to assign a high-level plan, and then select a Jira space. I've already created this one for the project called Lunar Mineral Map. From the resource type list, select Generic Resource, and then start typing a name, TBH Mining Expert. The start date for the plan is April 1st, and the end date is April 17th to cover when the current mining expert is on another project. And I'll set 8 hours per day just to fully book the time. And click Plan Time. The new generic resource is created and already has this plan assigned to it. I can edit this resource and add skills to it, as I did before. I'll select Certified EP and Contamination and click Save. And it matches our actual sustainable mining expert. I can now quickly block out high-level plans for the other two generic resources. I'll just drag across the timeline for our generic geologist to match when the other geologists are booked. And assign a high-level project plan on the lunar mineral map space. Again, I'll book for a full 8 hours per day, and click Plan Time. Of course, the easiest thing to do is just copy a plan. I just press the Option key on the Mac or Alt key on Windows, and drag this plan over to our TBH mining engineer. Our real mining engineer is going to be busy a bit longer, so I can just drag the end here to extend the plan to match. Having time planned for the generic resources means that they'll show up in reports. In the planned time report, I can see their planned hours on a project, along with the other resources. And in the capacity report, I can see their planned time in both hours and FTE. Now that I know the resource requirements from this data, I can make the case for either hiring someone or reallocating someone from another team. So with staffing gaps solved for now with generic resources, we can continue high-level planning until we get the actual resources that we need.